Today we're diving into a story of a couple who were together for 15 years with a happy marriage, house, and kids, when suddenly his wife said she couldn't do it anymore and walked out. What would you do if everything you had built came crashing down overnight? Like always, everything that you're about to hear is real and current. This is an actual story from a real person sent in from my Instagram. My hope is that this helps you in your life, and if you have any additional thoughts to help the person in this story, feel free to put them in the comments below. All right, let's get to the story. My wife and I met in high school 15 years ago. She was 16 and I was 17. We started dating and moved into our first apartment together after she graduated high school. She went to college in the same town we lived in while I worked. A few years later, we bought a house together at the young ages of 20 and 21. That's freaking awesome. That's what I'm trying to do now, like 27. She graduated college and we both ended up with really good jobs. Awesome. Over the years, we built a beautiful life together. We had our first child, got married, and eventually had a second child. With the new addition to our family, we decided to buy a bigger house. Now we have 2 kids, a nice home, and a life that anyone would describe as happy and stable. We've built so much together: a camper, a boat, a side-by-side, and we've shared countless adventures. We've gone on many vacations, some with kids and some just the 2 of us. We've always prioritized date nights and kept our intimate connection strong. We do everything together and genuinely have a great time. It seems like there's no problems so far. I'm curious to see what ends up happening before she leaves. But as our lives got busier with work and kids' activities and sports, I think it all became too overwhelming for my wife. Okay. A few months ago, she blindsided me, telling me she couldn't do it anymore. Within a week, she had moved out. Wow. She told me she had been thinking about this for a while and never communicated any of it to me. For years, I thought we had no problems. We didn't fight much and there wasn't any major conflict, but she admitted that she had been bottling things up and trying to deal with them on her own. Okay, so this is common for 2 different reasons. One is, we've talked about in other videos like this, avoidant attachment style. Some people just throughout life have been taught that their emotions are not safe to be shared. They could have been hurt when they were younger or maybe in past relationships. But it's a common thing people go through, and they think that they have to be strong and handle things on their own. I've also seen this with people that kind of have to grow up too fast and have to put their own emotions to the side to just make things work. So a lot of people who have kids really, really young, which maybe is the case with this couple, end up kind of thinking, okay, my emotions are something I can handle on my own, but I need to get this done right now. I need to get work done. I need to get my kids taken care of. And over time, if that continues to be the case, that connection between your emotions and yourself and the trust you have with yourself and your own decisions can erode away. And that might be what happened here. So we'll keep going. The issues she mentioned weren't big. They were little things that over time started to build up. She never shared what was bothering her, so I didn't know anything was wrong. To me, we had such a good relationship. When she told me she wanted to separate, I suggested marriage counseling, but she refused. This is also a common thing. When people are handling things on their own and they're not bringing it up and they think that they can do it on their own, by the time they bring it up, it's brand new to you, but it's not brand new to them. So you have all this energy to fix things and you're like, let's go to counseling, let's talk about it. But they're already spent. They have no more energy. They already used it up, which isn't fair, but it's the case we're dealing with here. She said she needs time and space and wants to be alone right now. It's been 2 months since she moved out, and she still says she doesn't want to be together right now. She hasn't mentioned divorce, and I'm holding on to hope that we can work things out now that she's finally communicated what's been bothering her. Awesome. She doesn't believe I can change or fix the problems, but I would do anything to try and work through them. After 15 years together, I still love her deeply and want to save what we've built. What do you recommend I do? First, a personal message to the man who sent me this. I think that you are incredible, and I can tell this means so much to you. I can tell from your words and the emotion in them that you truly love her and want to keep your family together. Now, across my coaching calls, there's 2 things that I've seen save marriages like this or really serious relationships. First, we're going to talk about how you can handle the moments when you're in contact with her to make sure they go smoothly. And then second, we'll talk about how you can apply no contact to make this feel real for her. The reason many marriages turn into divorce at this point is that every single time you two end up talking feels like a chore. You feel like you miss her so much, so every time you see her, you want to fix it. She's still unsure, but she misses you, so she wants to talk to you sometimes. But every time she does, she's met with a, what can we do? Can we go to couples therapy? How can I fix? How can I change? And those are stressful things to deal with. In the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the author describes something called an emotional bank account. It's a method you can use to measure the health of your relationship. He says that you can think about fun, easy, playful times as deposits, and then difficult times, arguments, fights, or even conversations that are really necessary, but they're hard, like, should we go to marriage counseling? What can I do to fix it? All of those fall under withdrawals. I would imagine your marriage is having a 0 balance right now. And with that being said, you don't want to start making withdrawals when you see her again. Your main focus should be on deposits. So how can you make those? First, when you're with her, focus on listening, questions, and talking about light topics. Talk about the things that connect you, like your kids or your camper or your side-by-sides. And only dive into the deep problematic topics if she brings them up. If and when she does, because she will, focus on questions first before explaining your side, so that you can teach her that she's safe when she shares these things with you. When people bring up problems in a relationship, especially if they're accusing you, people usually do one of 2 things. The first one you already know is bad, so you won't do that. But the second one you might. First, people often counter-accuse. They say, okay, you're mad at me, well, I'm mad at you for this. You're not gonna do that. We all know it's bad. But the second thing is we try to explain our intentions or tell someone why we actually didn't mean to hurt them in that way. This might seem helpful on the surface, but under the context of the conversation, this is what's happening. Your partner's coming to you saying, this hurt me. Understand me, please. And then you're coming to them and saying, no, understand me. You're actually wrong. The thing you're mad about didn't happen the way you think it happened. I actually had purer intentions than that. And when you handle the conversation this way, even if you're right, this person who wanted to be understood and validated in their anger first feels deflated and unseen. If you instead make it a rule that you have to ask your wife a couple questions when she accuses you of something or says when something's bothering her first, before explaining yourself, then she'll feel validated and be much more likely to listen to you. For example, if she comes and says, I was really overwhelmed with life and I didn't feel like I was supported by you, instead of saying, I'm so sorry, I was doing this and this and this and this is why I wasn't able to support you, say, how could I have supported you better? Or tell me more, I really want to understand how you're feeling. Then she'll hopefully tell you, and after she tells you, ask one more question to really drive home the point that your main priority is understanding her. After that, you can explain your side of the story and she'll probably listen to you and value what you have to say. While that's all going on, I would be completely no contact with her right now, as much as you can be while still having kids. Meaning that if you need to contact her, I would try to limit that to just when you actually need to about the kids. This is to respect her, and I would view this as building trust with her. She asked you to do something, you're respecting her wishes and doing it. Even though I know how painful that is, I've seen several divorces stop because the other person actually made it real and stopped talking to them. When the person who wants to leave actually experiences what it's like to be without you, they might change their mind and realize that they don't really want that. The problem is that if what she said is true and it's been building up for years, it's probably going to take her a little bit of time to get over all of that buildup and actually see the situation clearly from both sides. The fact that she has not mentioned or tried to file divorce yet does give me hope too, man. And it shows that she's conflicted or at least wants to explore this situation before committing to it. My final thought would be, don't try to trap her. When I was about 12 years old, I had a dog. It was a miniature pinscher and his name was Jesse. And every single time my mom would open the door, like if somebody came over, he would run in between her legs and bolt outside. I was the oldest kid, so it was my responsibility to get on my bike, go and chase down Jesse and bring him home. But every time I did, he would just run faster than I could ride and take me all the way to a different block. Eventually though, I realized that if I stopped chasing him and just went home, he would stop as well, look around a bit, and then miss us and come home too. If your partner feels trapped by you, they will run. If they feel like their choice to leave isn't okay, then they'll double down on it. Even though it can feel impossible, I would suggest actually letting her run. Actually letting her have the freedom to choose what she wants to choose. I think a lot of this is just because she had all that bottled up for so long. And when she actually goes out and experiences it and remembers how beautiful your life was together, I think there's a high possibility that she does reconsider that. That's it for this time. If you enjoy the breakup tapes, please consider subscribing so I can continue doing this. If you want your story to be on it, submit it in the link below. And if you'd like one-on-one help with me, the link's also in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye.